How's everybody else?
Everyone I associate with is thriving in abundance. Limitless.
Hello, welcome. I am Helene, and I am here to react to Tyler Perry's Sistas. Now, I recorded it, my initial reaction to it, and it got erased. So, that might have been for the best. But for the sake of this, I'm going to just review what I did see and then react to the rest. It begins, of course, where it left off from last week, where Karen is telling the homies, I got knocked up by Zack. Well, she didn't say by Zack. That's the subsequent questions that they asked. But they were initially taken aback by the fact that she was pregnant. And they were reacting very negatively to her being pregnant, which begs the question, why? Because I really felt like they was putting her integrity in question all up and through. And they were very negative, as if they would be raising a baby. Anywho, they asked her all the questions. She says Zack's. They say, are you sure? Of course she's sure, she says. And then they ask, well, are you pregnant for real, what the doctor say? She says she ain't go to the doctor. They like trying to find a way out for her, apparently. I don't understand the reaction from the homies. Why are your homies reacting like this? Anywho, Danny basically was like, we doing all this for a pregnancy test? Karen was like, I took 3 pregnancy tests. And they was like, oh shoot, well, there goes the out. Why do y'all need a way out for her? Then Fatima is down to the, I guess, lobby, calling to be rang up. Karen give her a pass to be rang up. All the while she's on her journey up to the penthouse. They going back and forth with should she be called up to the penthouse, which is unnecessary scene. And then the next unnecessary cringeworthy scene come along with Fatima and Karen have this discussion about Karen being pregnant, and Karen's dignity was all out for the shit known, because basically she wanted to blindside Karen with information about her being pregnant and then lie about Zack calling her every day. Then when she finally gets over this petty, cringy ass conversation and walks back, Fatima's finna leave. Karen call her back to apologize and say she was lying. She just was trying to hurt her. Then Fatima go into this sermon about how you try to raise these boys to be men. Who asked you? Why are you doing that? Why did you think that was it? But anywho, she says this and then tries to relate to Karen and how she understands how you put all this into a man and he takes what you poured into him to the next and this and that and whoop de whoop. And I'm looking like, ew. You could tell it's a man behind his pen. And for all of y'all who be saying, oh, he know how to write for women, lies, stop. I don't know who y'all kick it with. It's telling me the quality of the people y'all kicking it with. Because I don't personally kick it with these type of people who hold these type of conversation. And even if these are the topics of the conversation, it wouldn't be so petulant, superficial, and illogical. But anywho, she relates to Karen and then they go sit on the couch and they all kicking it like the homies. All from this conversation, I'm realizing, Karen, them ain't your homies, because they champion Fatima. Danny all on Fatima's side, being her hype man all while the conversation going down. Then they want to act like they all can relate when Fatima has this sermon about how she relates. Y'all lying, because y'all didn't show how y'all could relate while she was going through. Anywho, they get on the couch with this elementary at best conversation about how men ain't shit, whoop de woo, and it's not amounting to anything that is important to even discuss. But then Danny stops Fatima from joining the chorus of them hating on men. And this is not, again, not even a realistic conversation. Even if this is the topic, this isn't how that topic would manifest or go down or transition to. And the discussion wouldn't be so adolescent. Anywho, then they have a discussion about how they go to the kitchen, have a discussion about each other, man, and recap as they usually do on Tyler Perry's show. Have a conversation about what we seen already in prior episodes without adding anything different, just to be taking up time for the page. Then the next scene is where Zack, I guess, gets a call from Gary's colleague to discuss his money and what he should do with his money and how he should protect his money. And whoop de whoop, and he get off the phone with him. Right when he gets off the phone with him, Fatima comes in the bathroom. They both recap what we just saw. They recap the phone call, and then they recap her hanging with the girls. And then they discuss how she don't trust his colleague, Gary colleague. Then the subsequent scene was Karen at her salon having a phone call with Andy, basically saying that Andy stayed up there in the penthouse and she should have left with Karen. Then Karen get a phone call from Aaron. Aaron is putting two and two together, trying to figure how this baby can be his, and she ain't even gone down to the doctor to even see what the timeline is for this baby. Anywho, he apparently want this baby to be his. Then we come back and we at Andy's penthouse. She pressed the iPad and it goes through another tour with Gary's narration in the background. She just discovered some new letters in the drawer and her favorite ice cream in the freezer. And if she want him to come over, press a button. Then the next scene is Gary and Zack on the phone call discussing his money once again and how he need to move his money to be safe because he has some people on his tail and he know what this. He trying to give him basically a warning. He apologized to Zack, and then Hayden comes into Gary's office, and right at the time that he's having this phone call with Zack, they hang up. Hayden and Gary are colluding for their individual interests. Hayden wants to keep an eye on Zack to get him bumped, but Gary don't know why. But Gary wants Hayden to keep an eye on Andy down to the job. Hayden then leaves out, and then Gary's colleague come into the office talking about how he don't trust Hayden, and then Gary gives the colleague Zack's file to check up on. And then from that conversation, we learned that Hayden done some dirty shit. He must have done some illegal things. All of this is amounting to a cringy show. But now let me get on to the next thing. The following scene is with Maurice pulling up to the bank. As he walks up to the bank, Q pop up begging to come to his house, telling him if he don't get to his house within an hour, they gonna put him in jail. He get his faint apology, I guess thinking that means he has the right to go to Maurice's house. As he goes back and forth begging to go to Maurice's house, and Maurice keeps telling him no. Sabrina pulls up on this whole scene saying she's gonna call the police as they enter the currency exchange. The next scene is with Zack at his house as the colleague of Gary comes in while he cleans up. It wraps up with the guy basically trying to help Zack out to figure out how to answer the questions he would inevitably get with this lucky hit in the stock market that he has made. As soon as they finish with the him and Han of why he will help Zack, that's when that investigator lady comes in with all these people who look official like they bear whistles, ready to arrest Zack. And it ends right there. This episode was cringy for most of the episode. I don't understand why people are rooting for Fatima, because the way Fatima talk about Zack, it sounds like she built a bomb, in the words of the homie. Like, girl, and she takes pride in patching this nigga up, and Zack, I patched up, and whatever. These are responsibilities adults do not have to one another. I never hear men talking about how they grew up they woman. What the K Michelle say? You can't raise no man. Girl, stop doing that. Stop even saying that rhetoric, but you know who behind the pen, so it would be cringy. And everybody who lie about this man having the voice of women behind his pen, y'all are lying because y'all want opportunities and jobs. He is not Santa Claus. Start being real with this nigga. Anywho, it's giving very immature. These are 35 and up, supposed to be women with college degrees in their own professions, and the way he pens conversations sound very immature and superficial and illogical. Every conversation on here, it's just like Legos, like they're just connecting anything to hurry up and build to something that ultimately amounts to nothing. But at the end of it all, can't y'all encourage this man to just go out and scour the earth and find some black American writers who can write logical scripts. We ain't asking for the moon, stars, and sun, just a give a care. Even when you see him go down that path with Calvin and Sabrina, and how Calvin is supposed to be this eccentric type of man, why does Grownish have a better grasp of how to write something like that more maturely for children than Tyler Perry has for adult women with careers? It seems as if he don't give a fuck, or he don't like women, and people go up for it as if you think it too much. Because the people tell me, oh, you thinking too deeply about it. No, this goes in the panels and the annals of history, and this is what goes out into the global propaganda of representation. And criticism needs to be had so somebody could say, girl, that ain't how we talk. Even if those are the topics of discussion, the ebb and flow of the discussion would not be like that. The depth in which you would confront the subject would not be that petty or trivial. It looked like little children, or it looked like he went to an episode of The Housewives and pinned a discussion from some shock television. If you have a dream, it's possible. Do it. I'm waiting on you to do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. I want you to. Because anything's possible. To the ethos, tell the future I said so.